Yo, people, we back again for the new season. First of the season, well, second of the season actually, but you get the gist in it. But first match day review of the season, we back, people. But you know the usuals from last year. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your people. You know how it is, man. We want to grow. We want to grow the channel. We want to get more subscribers. But in order to do that, we need you to share and do your part. But yeah, man, let's get straight into it. So the Premier League's back, man. 21-22 seasons here. It's dawned upon us. And let's get straight to it. You know, the biggest winners of the what's it of this weekend was a certain Man United. You know, they pumped Leeds 5-1. So let's even start with our United correspondent. What was your thoughts on it? And I'm expecting a title challenge. But yeah, what was your thoughts?
Sensational opening to the season. Um, I watched pretty much most of the game because of luckily I managed to get my break the same time the game was being played. So I missed the first Bruno goal, but the rest of the goals I saw live. Um, just a great performance all round. We know it's Leeds. They're a very attacking side, and I feel like when we play Leeds, we match up very, very well against them. A lot of people before the season were doubting Bruno Fernandes drops a hat trick on the first day of the season to remind the people why we gassed him so much. Now I feel like people forgot what Bruno Fernandes was about. Well, not us, the United fans, but a couple of the other man, they forgot about Bruno Fernandes. But we're back and we're here. We've arrived. We're gonna do our thing this season. Pogba, 4 assists, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 assists. Brilliant performance from Paul Pogba. His passing was exquisite. It looked too easy for Pogba at times. Greenwood, brilliant finish for I think it was our second goal. Brilliant finish from Greenwood. Even Fred scored. So that's how you know that we had a good game. Leeds didn't really do too much apart from the Haaland goal. The Haaland goal was very, very good, I have to admit. But Man United, it's the crowd. That's the main part for me. Like I was so excited watching us play with the full Old Trafford Stadium. It was everything just went well. It went our way, and I think the fans coming in was a big boost. Obviously, the announcement of Iran before the game as well, great PR by Woodward. I'll give him his flowers for that PR or whatever, but I won't give him his flowers for anything else. Yeah, a very good start to the season and a statement of intent from United. So I'm happy with the opening there. Weekend even.
What's your thoughts on the Pogba left wing though? You see that long term?
It's not gonna happen. It's not long term. It's not long term because of when Rashford does come back, even the next game, I don't really think he should play. In fact, probably maybe left wing in the next game. But when Rashford comes back, you can't play in that left wing position because if you can't fit Rashford, Sancho, and Pogba on the wings, like it doesn't make sense. Probably gonna have to sacrifice one of McSauce. I mean, not McSauce, McFred even. But McFred, they had a good game. They both played very, very well on the weekend. I have to give them their props. And yeah, they did their thing. It's going to be interesting to see how Oli fits in Pogba into that midfield and has the coverage at the same time as well. But I think we'll manage to be able to do it. We should be able to do it.
Yeah, I hear that, man. What about you, Ori? What was your thoughts on United's performance against Leeds? What did you draw from it?
Yeah, I managed to just catch some bits of the game because I was quite busy. Yeah, United just looked like a really, good side that I think what I really liked the most was how they reacted after that Ailing goal. They didn't just get depleted and stuff like that. They went on and they scored like 4 more goals or 4 more goals after that. So that was quite impressive from them. The Pogba left wing thing that you spoke about, I don't know, that's a bit of a funny one because it always depends on the opponent that they're playing. So I kind of feel that Pogba left wing is better suited to some matches, teams where, something like Leeds where they just try and press and, try and go out of attack. So if they're playing someone like Burnley who sit back, I don't really think Pogba would be the guy that you would go to play left wing. Yeah, it's just there are many options, and I really would like to see how Ole works it out, because I also don't think Pogba and Bruno can play in the same midfield. I've said that lots of times. Maybe certain matches, but that's just really, really rare, and it's just so in a 38-game season, Pogba and Bruno could play in the same midfield for just maybe like a small amount of games, and I don't really just see that working out. So I think what a lot of United fans are hoping for is that magical DM would come in and sit behind Pogba and Bruno and do all the work in the whole world, but it's just not going to work. When you need to have a balanced midfield, you need a holding midfielder, and you need someone who sits deep and goes forward occasionally, box to box. But Pogba is mostly like an attacking player. So, I've just not really seen how that can get really balanced for them. I know a lot of people like to point out that Pep did it with David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, but that was a really one-off situation where they played with inverted fullbacks. Obviously Fernandinho was one of the best holding midfielders one of the best holding midfielders in the game. So there's just so many things that go into playing with 2 8s per se. But besides that, I'll just like to see how United work that out throughout the rest of the season. Obviously Sancho is going to be starting very soon. Something exciting for them to look forward to. As if I was a United fan, I would be really happy. Probably would want them to still get a central midfield, a holding midfielder before the season ends. But I would be feeling very confident if I was a United fan, as potential title challengers. If they do not win the title, I'll be honest with you, I don't really say I'm backing them to challenge for the title, although I still know that they're a bit of situations where I feel like they can still work on in their team. But if they're not close or just a couple points short of winning the title, I do feel that would be a disappointment, because against every opponent they come against, they should probably be able to beat just about everyone except, the heavy hitters per se. That's just it per se. So we'll just see how they go on throughout the season, and
Dan?
Yeah, I agree with most of what was said, to be honest. I think Man United was a pretty flawless performance, to be honest. Even the Luke Ayling goal, I mean, you can't fault anyone for that, really. That's just one of them goals that it is what it is. So, as Denzel said, I think Man United match up well with Leeds. Man United they attack and are very strong in transition. I think Leeds try and play in transition as well, but when you have better players, obviously the result's gonna kind of paint that picture. But no, I think Pogba, Bruno, Mason Greenwood were all unplayable, to be honest. Very, very good games. But I think, as we were saying, Pogba left wing, I don't know long term how that's going to work. And I'm interested to see how Oli makes that work, because I think what's inevitably is going to happen is, if Man United don't win the league or even don't challenge for the league, that's going to be the excuse. I think it's going to be, he's going to try and put Bruno and Pogba in the same midfield with one of Fred or McTominay. And at the end of the season, a lot of the Man United fan base is going to say, it's just that we didn't have that holding midfield. That holding midfielder would have won us the Premier League, because it would have balanced our midfield. And I don't know if that's really accurate and that's really the scapegoat that's going to stop them from winning the title. I definitely, if I was a Man United fan, I'd definitely be excited though, from what I've seen from Greenwood, Bruno, Pogba. I mean, you've got Rashford to come back, you've got Varane to come in. Sancho only had a bit part role in that game. He's still got to come into the team. So I'd definitely be excited. But whether I think they can win the title, I just don't think they can find that consistency under Oli. And I think a lot of Man United fan base subconsciously agree with that. Because if you look at social media, I've not seen one Man United fan confidently come out and say, we're either going to challenge for the title or we're going to win the title. Not one.
Can I just say though, no fan is confidently coming out saying they're going to win the title.
I mean, City fans and Chelsea fans have been saying they're going to win the title.
What Chelsea fans have you seen saying they're going to win the title?
When Chelsea fans signed Lukaku, they said, that's the title.
Personally, I haven't seen that many say. I don't think anyone's confidently said with chess, even from the managers themselves and the teams themselves, no one's confidently said with chess
But
they're going to win the
managers is
title. I don't
different
get why
from
everyone
fan
keeps
base,
on
though.
picking out United. But
And it's the reason people are picking out Man United is because you've had the best summer and you've gassed up a lot of your players, and
we've
you've also
had the best.
you have had the
Summer
best
hasn't
summer.
ended.
You know what,
At the end of the transfer window,
you know what.
can I? Okay, quickly. By the end of the transfer window, do you think Man United would have had the best transfer window out of everyone
Yes.
in the league?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, not by the end, but so far. Not by the end, but so far.
Who would have had it by the end, do you think?
If Chelsea signed someone else, probably them.
Yeah, Chelsea and C.
If Chelsea,
If-
but who
if-
else is
if-
gonna
if-
sign
If
that?
C
If
get
City or Chelsea sign one more
so-
person, probably will
So
be
they're
them.
literally both one signing away from having better windows than us. So we've signed Sancho, Varane, fair enough. But
But them
even
signings are
we've
big
signed
signings.
those two players to get onto the level of the Man Cities and the Chelsea's squad wise, first team wise.
Wait. Are
if
you
they
saying Chelsea
add-
have a better first team squad than you?
No, well, they have Lukaku. They have a striker. They needed the striker, and they've got.
Do they have a
striker.
better first team squad?
No, right now, with all your options, who do you think has the better squad, Chelsea or yours?
Chelsea.
Yeah, I'd say Chelsea have a better starting lineup.
I'd say
Who is a better first team? Chelsea have a better
Are you
starting
guys
lineup.
not just saying that? Are
Yeah,
you guys
I'd
just
say so.
saying
Yeah.
that? Are you guys
In
not
In
just
fact,
saying
no,
that?
lineup.
they have a better squad. They have a better squad.
Oh, starting lineup.
No, starting lineup. I mean starting lineup. Yeah.
Because if we're basing it off the
Arguably
world class
so, yeah.
video,
Arguably so, yeah. Because if they've added
pretty close.
Lukaku, who is a world class striker.
but if we're basing it off
Say
the world
before,
class video,
before,
Man United had
before,
7
Or
world
are
class
we
players.
not just saying that? Are we not just saying that? Are we
Lukaku-
not just saying that because
before
Chelsea won the
Lukaku, I would
Champions
say
League?
no, but they've just added Lukaku, who's a prolific striker. Chelsea's main issue was they couldn't score goals, and now they've added one of the best goal scorers in Europe. So obviously that's going to improve them. Before Lukaku, if you ask me that question, I'd say yeah. I would put
So you're
us
saying,
above Chelsea.
you're
But
saying
Lukaku
Chelsea-
changes
you're
a lot.
saying You're saying Chelsea have a
Because
better
now they have
starting-
output. Before, if you have a
They
bunch of
have a
players that are
starting-
good and they can't score,
Wait,
now they
Denzel,
have a
But
goal
going-
scorer.
but going-
So
but going back to the
Denzel,
world class
wait.
video, Chelsea only had 1 world class or 2 world class players. Lukaku, that's 3. Man United had 7.
okay.
How
And-
can Chelsea have a worse starting 11 if Man United have 7 world class players?
No, I said they have arguably a better squad.
starting
You
11.
just
who
said
do you
starting
think
11.
has 11.
Starting 11 and squad. Yeah, I'll double down. Starting 11 and squad. Yeah.
But if United have 7 world class players, 7 of your starting 11 is world class.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm convinced.
Well,
I'm convinced,
arguably, yeah.
I'm convinced United have a better starting 11, and
They
yet
do. They do.
I feel like Chelsea are more
Right,
confident
okay,
about the
okay.
title because of obviously the Champions League they won. Well, I don't know,
No, I think
man.
it's because of the manager. If we're being honest,
yeah. That's
I
the
think-
truth.
I
That's
think
the truth.
that's why. Like, I think if Man United had
Yeah. Tuchel is the big plus.
Klopp, then Man United fans would be coming out and saying, "Yeah, we're winning the title." But I think because it's Oli, they're not as convinced. And if we're talking about like a lot of people in the last a couple of years have been talking about process and progress. If we're being honest, yeah, this after Man United's progress, this is the year to win the title. You came second last year. If you're truly making progress, you win the title this year.
Very interesting hearing progress and process from Arsenal fans. Very interesting. Because at the same time, both managers.
Don't deflect. Don't
Let me-
deflect.
I was waiting for him.
It's very
Bro,
interesting.
bro.
because-
We're going to talk about Arsenal in this
We'll get
podcast.
onto Arsenal.
Yeah, we
You
know
know,
we'll talk about
patience.
Arsenal. Yeah,
Well, right now we're
okay.
talking about United. Right now we're talking about United.
Yeah, we're
When it
gonna.
comes to
I'm
Arsenal,
saying, yeah, we're gonna challenge for the title. I've said it before.
we'll challenge that, but
No, it's not
supposed to be
challenge. It's
challenging.
win.
you don't talk
It's
about
not
Arsenal
challenge. It's
now.
win.
No one has come out and said that their
It's
team's
win.
gonna win. So why does every Man United fan have to come and say that we're gonna win the league now? It doesn't make
You
sense.
finished second last year. If the process and the progress is working, you'll finish first.
Who is coming out with chess? Even Pep Guardiola, Tuchel, Klopp. No one is coming out with chess and
No
saying, "I
manager,
think my team's
but
gonna win the
fans are.
title." So why
But
is everyone
fans
looking
are.
at United and saying, "Oh, United fans should be saying they should
And
be
the
winning
reason,
the
and the
title"?
reason now is because you guys gash your team so much and you gash your
man.
manager so much. So
Man,
where's
people just won't let us enjoy things. People won't let us
I
enjoy
can't
bro,
lie,
things.
no, be honest, bro.
They're
They're
You
actually
said you
not
have
letting
7
us enjoy the
you said you have
football.
7
They see
world-class
Man United play
players.
well. Oh, you guys should be winning.
You said
Wait,
you
wait,
said you have
let's-
7 world-class players.
Let's
You
be
added
honest
more.
though. Let's be honest. United shouldn't expect to win the title because they're still
Exactly.
Man City,
This is
they're
what's
still-
confusing.
Exactly.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, you should be winning
Exactly.
the
Fine.
A
title."
challenge,
It
a challenge
makes
is
sense.
minimum. A challenge is
That's
minimum.
bare minimum.
5 points.
Yeah.
5 points is what I'm to be
Yeah,
moving.
Yeah, and I've
Right.
said that, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
come out and say, "Oh, we're gonna win the league for one game." I don't get why people are saying that. We should be saying we should be winning the league. That don't make sense. Now, I don't understand that.
So
Like,
you shouldn't-
United-
so you don't want to win the league. So you don't want to. So
Pardon?
you don't want to win the league. So you're
What do you
happy with just challenging.
Did I just wait? When did I say I don't want to win
But
the
where does
league?
but where,
I said I'm not gonna. I said I'm not gonna look at one game
but
and
what
then
I'm
say,
asking
"Oh,
is
we're
where
going
does it
to win
stop
the league."
though?
That's
But
mad
where does it
reaction.
stop though? Because if you leave it to Man United fans, you'll never say we're winning the league. You'll always just be happy with starting the
What
season.
fan?
Future
What
challenge.
fan after one game of the season is saying we're going to win the league?
Fans say at the start of the season, before the season starts, we're going to win the
No
league.
fan base is saying we're going to win the
Man
league
City
after
and
one
Chelsea
game
fans
in
have
the
said they're
season.
going to win the league.
I personally haven't seen anyone come out with chest and say they're going to win the league.
I've seen many City and Chelsea fans say, especially
Yeah,
after
to be
Good for
fair,
them.
so-
Good for them. Doesn't mean we have to do the same thing.
But yeah,
I'm
hey,
asking you.
let's focus on the game. So, on the game itself, United, as we know, they destroyed Leeds because Leeds tried to do the man marking thing, go 1v1 with United. United have better players. And you see McTominay and Fred. You see when you have physicality, when they're making them late man runs, you see McTominay just destroying the Leeds midfield. Leeds and Man United is a perfect matchup for United. You just saw, like, you see all them balls in behind Leeds. Like, how many have got their goals were in behind of Leeds? Like what's it called? The Greenwood one, Fernandez. I think his first one was Pogba played the ball when they won the ball back. Like, they were just destroying these in the transition. It was disgusting. But I do against the low block sides, because more time United do beat the low block against the smaller sides, but it's just, I'm not sure, because that's what's going to cost them the title, because you saw them in the big games. They don't really lose points against the big teams. They just don't win. But they really lost the
It's
league.
their
from
home
the
form as
smaller
well. I think their home form will need to improve
Yeah.
this year as well.
They really do
I think
lose.
fans make that difference though, especially with the big teams at home.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
100%.
think the big teams last year underperformed at home because they didn't really have fans.
Mm. So that's the thing with United. If they improve their home form, especially against like the smaller teams as well, then yeah, they'll be a lot closer in my opinion. So, and you could say that creativity will come through Sancho and that defensive solidity through Varane. If they had a DM, that then you could say they're pretty set. But I mean, United, I think they're on the right track, honestly.
Mm.
But yeah, Sarah, what was your thoughts on the game?
No, from what the highlights I watched and listened to Ollie, he made an interesting point that in terms of the DM, he's rotating Fred and McTominay to start making those late runs, whereas last season we didn't really see them making runs into the box. And maybe this is just off one game. I mean, we'll see what happens, but that's an interesting dynamic to see. Not just relying on Bruno as the only midfield creator or just making late runs. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They add steel to the midfield. We don't rate them entirely, but if they get a lights out DM.
So let's actually focus on Ollie now. Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, because I do obviously have reservations whether he can win the league for them. I don't know if he's that manager, but one thing, obviously people still sometimes call him the PE teacher and stuff like that, but I think tactically
biggest myth in football.
Yeah, he's tactically
Such
like
a
we've
myth,
seen him against the big teams. He does set his teams up well. Like you see the way Pep struggled against him. So it's a thing of what do we think is the thing that's holding back Ollie from being the guy to take United forward? So what are the things?
I'll tell you what it is, Josh. I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
It's the fact that Man United's improvement as a team is largely, I don't want to say largely, but a big factor is the fact that they're just bringing in a lot better players rather than the players that are there massively improving. So like, for example, even with Pep, someone like Kyle Walker massively improved as a player. Raheem Sterling massively improved as a player. But even like Klopp as well, Robertson, Henderson, Wijnaldum massively improved as a player. Whereas with Ollie, a lot of these players that aren't seen as at the level yet will just get replaced for a very expensive player. So if that's someone like Pep, people are calling him a checkbook manager. And I think that's kind of why people have reservations a bit about Ollie. Because like the coaching side.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because Shaw is showing his best form.
Yeah. I was about to say
Shaw,
Rashford,
Rashford.
a lot of players under Mourinho have improved a lot more under Solskjaer, so I don't really understand that point personally.
So
even McTominay, Fred, Shaw, Rashford, and Pogba. Fred has improved under.
Fred?
Nah. Let's not. No, pretty much all of their team has improved under Ole.
Really?
Yes, Fred is better than he was under Mourinho, 100%. Come
Really?
on, don't be silly now. Yes.
All right.
Nah, this whole Ole or just buys players and then they're just buying players and improving the squad thing. To an extent, yes, that is that is a percentage in it. But we can't act like Ole hasn't improved the players that Mourinho had. He has. The players are performing way better for Ole than they were under Mourinho. So you have to give him credit. I don't get why people just rubbing him out like this. It don't make sense to
me. Yeah, I don't know. Sarah, what's your thoughts on Oli tactically? Do you think he is a good tactical manager? Or?
Tactically, he's improved, and he knows. I feel like, and this is recent, but he knows his squad's limitations, and to some extent, he knows who his best players are, and I don't know. I feel like the experience is going to show, but even in some games at home last season, that cutting edge and that ability to change in game, we see that with all the top managers. It wasn't there.
Maybe that's the thing. The in-game management,
especially at home last season, it was just a lot of stale passing and trying not. It wasn't like what it was in their away games. I don't know. Just like Wan-Bissaka brought in massive improvement. Bruno Fernandes, massive improvement. Like they've brought their qualities, but they were already ready-made. Do you know what I mean? So it's 50-50.
All right, what's your thoughts on Oli as a manager?
You guys probably hard to believe, but actually Ole is actually one of my favorite managers in the league because he is a very good firstly, he's a very good man manager and he's a very good squad selector. So he can get a group of players and he can select exactly the right players he wants for certain games. He does that really well, and he did that really well last season against Pep. My problem with Ole, like Sarab said, is maybe you call it in-game management, or I would just call it, critical thinking, maybe, that he lacks it to some extent, being able to react quickly and being able to think on the spot, and also just being able to just create lasting systems throughout the season. So like I always say, and like I've said, I think before this podcast, that to win the league, you need to be consistent. Then you need to create a system or use a particular system that, is not quite often or not quite used in the league, that just kind of like disrupts your opponents and, makes them know what to expect, which is why, Pep always says every season you need to refresh your squad. You need to refresh your ideas. You can't go into the season the same way you went into the last and expect the same results. So Ole, I have not seen him really implement any like particular new system to United. There are lots of good players who are just playing well, and as a team, he can put them together. They can play well. But when Klopp won the league, or when he had that good phase with Liverpool, you saw how he used the fullback overload to create chances. You saw how he used Firmino as a false nine. You saw how he had those three powerhouses in the midfield. You saw different areas of his team that were put together. Pep has used different systems, playing out from the back, the 2-8, the inverted fullbacks. He's even tried, the false nine, even though that hasn't really worked out well in Man City. But, I see, wingers as well, switching Sterling and Sané, all of those
high
things.
and wide.
These are all stuff that like, I just, even Conte, the three, even though I'm not a huge fan of three at the back, but I mean, it works for Conte and he worked in the league, and, he won that one title. And he was really good that season. And it was literally not halfway, but around that October time, after he lost like 3-0 to Arsenal, that was when he just switched up everything and he just switched to three at the back. And after that, they just went on to win the title. So Ole should be able to make those decisions midway into the season. He should be able to like create new systems, use new systems. But I haven't really seen United like implement any particular style of play. They just sometimes play good football, sometimes they don't. So it's just really a hit or miss, and you can't have that if you're trying to be consistent. So that is literally the only thing I would say that Ole lacks, and I don't know how he can improve on that. Maybe it's experience, maybe just needs more time and he gets it. But they should just see how they do this season. I feel like they really have to be close to the title this season, at least 5 points. I think, like what Sarab said, probably 5 points, or just really close to winning it. And I think that's when they could say, okay, you know what, next season we could just add a couple players and, give it another push and, probably try and go for the title. But yeah, if I was United, I would keep if I was a United fan, I would want Ole to, stay, depending on how it looks, even though he still hasn't won a trophy, even though I do think that's quite bad. But, I would still want him to stay just because, he really just seems like a manager who could actually, make that progress and take them over the line eventually. But like I say, it's really a hit or miss and you can't really predict it. But I feel like they should just try and be optimistic. But yeah, that's my take.
Yeah. As you said, time will tell in it with Oli. So I guess that's what we're gonna see by the end of the season, whether he is if he can step up to that level, because we all have our reservations on him. So let's see, man. This season will show a lot for many different managers, and to segue that into another manager, it wasn't a very good start for Arsenal FC, and obviously a lot of the blame fell on Arteta as well, who's under massive scrutiny. So because we've spoken about Arteta a lot, and I don't want us to regurgitate what we said, but I kind of let Dan kind of lead off because I know he had some points that he wanted to talk about from the game. So Dan, share your thoughts on the game and just our thoughts on Arsenal's strategy in general.
Do you know what it is with Arsenal? Yeah, I think everyone knows my thoughts on Arteta. I think he's one of the worst managers in the league, but I'm not going to blame him solely for this game, even though I think he made quite a few poor decisions in terms of how he set the team up. But I think the problems at Arsenal run way deeper than Arteta, man, way deeper. They run on a board level, on an ownership level. I think even the fans have to take some responsibility to some point, because, like, if we're being honest, yeah, looking at the starting 11, Arsenal starting 11, Leno is a poor keeper, especially on the ball, very poor keeper. Chambers he shouldn't really be starting in the Premier League. I watched Marseille against Bordeaux. 20-year-old Saliba and 35-year-old Koscielny are both better than Mari. He's awful as a player. Ben White, I'll get onto Ben White later, but Ben White's he's not bad. He's where it is. Tierney's a good player. The midfield, Xhaka and Lokonga, nowhere near good enough. And then the front four, apart from Pepe, they're all kids. So even though I think Mikel's a poor manager, in that situation, he's not really been given anything to work with in terms of starting 11. Like, Arsenal, when before this window, Arteta was saying that the board has promised him a squad overhaul. Edu is going to be ruthless in the window. So far, the season started, and we've brought in one first-team player for 50 million, Ben White. I think Edu's been on 2 holidays, by the way, in the transfer window. 2 holidays. As a DOF, your only jobs, you have 3 main roles: to buy players, to sell players, and to manage the assets that you've got. Edu, and I know we spoke about on the group chat, me and Ore agreed that Edu, he sold Willock for under his value. The most he could get for Xhaka was a 12 million bid, coming off a very impressive Euro campaign. And the only other players he sold is Guendouzi and Saliba, arguably two players that a lot of people would want to see in the squad. While there's about 7 or 8 other players that are just dead wood that he's not been managed to move on. So he's failed part 1 of selling players.
Can we stay on part 1? Can we stay on part 1?
Go on.
So obviously, my thoughts on Willock. I don't think he's worth over 35 mil. You could push 30, but 35, because I always said, yeah.
We don't even need to touch on Willock. Guendouzi, the obligation that Edu has negotiated for Guendouzi's permanent sale is 10 million.
Yeah.
Is that good enough?
Nah. For a player of his value, potential
that's
value.
my point. That's my point. He can't sell players, so that's number 1 of being a DOF. He can't buy players. The only player he's bought is Ben White, like, who goes into the first team. Nuno and Lokonga, I'll touch on Lokonga a bit later, but I think Arsenal fans are Lokonga's the new toy for Arsenal fans. He's the new shiny toy that he's young and he's got the cosign from Company and he's got the cosign from Henry. So in 6 months' time, Arsenal fans will be calling him generational. But I've seen him in pre-season and I've seen him in the first game of the season. And the stuff that Arsenal fans are gassing up, I've not seen anything that he's been doing that El Neni hasn't done. The stuff that Arsenal fans are gassing up. I'm not saying he's not. But from what he showed so far, El Neni has done everything that he's done, but they'll gas him up because he's young and he's the new generational talent. And in 2 years' time, he's just a squad player. But these are the players he's bought. And then in terms of managing assets, how many of Arsenal's assets have depreciated under Edu and Arteta?
How do you know in 2 years? How do you know in 2 years' time Lokonga will be like just another squad player?
Because I've watched him.
Are you from the future? Are you from the future though? I'm just curious about.
I've seen it all before with these type of players.
Are you? I'm just curious. Are you from the future? I'm
not from the future. I'm not from the future.
So you can't completely guarantee me that he will just be a squad player in 2 years.
No, I can't guarantee you that.
Can't guarantee me.
I'm just saying that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. All right, carry on.
Yeah, but when we're talking about managing assets, Nelson, Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, all these players, Aubameyang, all these players' value in terms of stock has crashed massively. Like he's managed to, and it's not just Edu on that front in terms of the stocks crashing. Arteta has to take some responsibility there. But can you not see, like, from both Edu and Arteta, both of them are massively underperforming, and the real root of that is the ownership, really, because an ownership like, for example, a Chelsea or a Man City or even like a Man United, they wouldn't accept underperforming from both levels. The manager and the director of football, both of these parties, in my opinion, are massively underperforming. And the fact that the ownership is letting them get away with it says everything that needs to be said.
Basically, according to you, United have underperformed in both aspects for the past, since Ferguson, for you, because you're literally saying United have not had a good manager since Ferguson, according to you. Because
I didn't say he's not good, though. I didn't say he's not good.
You don't rate Ole as well.
Level.
So according to you,
you talk about him, you make it sound like he's not good.
So according to you, Ole is underperforming then.
He's underperforming.
Fair enough. So United have physically underperformed in terms of the manager, like managerial selection since Ferguson.
They have, because they've not won a title.
Fair enough.
But multiple managers have come and gone.
That's hindsight though. In practice though, you look at the managers they brought in Mourinho and Van Gaal, which you would assume would bring success. So obviously we still have to look at the context. With the Edu thing, I do hear what you're saying in terms of some of the values, but because I was looking at like some of the players you're trying to ship off, like you're trying to ship off Xhaka, Bellerin, and all these, man. The reason why you're not getting values or getting people that are interested is because I guess people don't really rate them. You get what I'm saying? So like we're looking at Xhaka, yeah. The fact that I think the price tag you wanted was 15 to 80 million, around about that, innit?
Which, if we're being honest, coming off that Euros, that's a very fair price.
But the fact that Roma weren't willing to pay,
that
does have to show you. No, but it does have to show you that sometimes just teams don't want to pay what. And this is the thing about clubs, yeah. From a business perspective, you don't want to come across weak. So you set a price between 15 to 80 million. A club is offering you 12 million. I'm not taking that 12 million because you're trying to take me for a ride. And that message that it will send to other teams that are negotiating with you is that you're very easy to negotiate and we can get things at our price. And that's you got to be careful with that, in my opinion.
But Josh, the fact that he's not managed to get anyone out of the door, like it's not even the Xhaka situation, even though I didn't agree with him being given a pay rise, the fact that they've not sold him for 12 million, I get that. I totally, because 12 million, they're taking the piss. But the fact that you've not managed to get anyone out the door, and I mean anyone, the only three you've managed to get is Willock, Saliba, and Guendouzi. And in terms of priority, they'd probably be the three that Arsenal fans would least like to be sold.
But let's be honest, those three are probably the most rated, alongside Nelson, probably, alongside the players that you want to sell that people actually want to buy. There's not really, like, look at Bellerin, who, apart from Inter Milan, I think that was it really that only had concrete interest. It's like, this is a buyer's market, really. Like, for sellers, it's difficult right now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's not just Arsenal, to be fair.
More time. A lot of these guys that you have, you're probably going to just loan them out because no one's going to pay them. As a
DOF, that comes as part of the job. Like Man City have sold £60 million worth of players. Chelsea have sold 50, 60 million pounds worth of players. And a lot of these players aren't first team players.
But look at the profile. They're young. Most of the players that you sold are young. Like
exactly.
People like I don't know, man.
It's harder to sell the Xhakas and those type of players. A lot of clubs are struggling with selling those type of players. The older deadwood in the club, it's not even just Arsenal. United as well were struggling to sell our older deadwood. So I feel like that's just a problem with the Premier League. Premier League trying to export players out that are of an older age. I don't think it's just an Arsenal problem. I just think it's a problem with the league in general. So I wouldn't be too harsh on them when it comes to selling Xhaka and all of that. I don't think it's fair because you have to look at it with a wider scope. A lot of clubs would struggle to sell Xhaka in this market. And
That's fair.
I
With
think
Xhaka, I
go
hear
on.
that, and that's fair. I hear that. But like the fact that there's 9 players, and a lot of these players have buyers. For example, Willian has at least 2 potential clubs that want him, and both of them have fallen through. Like, and it's the fact that, like, I think also is the reason why a lot of Arsenal fans are angry is the people we've been linked to. So Ben White's come on board, and Ben White is not someone, before the window, I wouldn't have been jumping for joy for Ben White, but I'm not mad at that purchase. I understand why he was purchased. And although he didn't look fantastic in the Brentford game, I think in the future it will be worth the investment. But when you see other players, when you see Ramsdale, they've bidded 3 times for Ramsdale. Come on. That's unacceptable, given the circumstances.
Is
I
Ramsdale
understand-
even good with his feet?
Yeah.
Like, I
No,
don't.
he's
I-
not.
the Ramsdale thing,
That
the
would be
thing,
a shocking signing.
the thing that I don't understand about the Ramsdale thing is like a season ago or 2 seasons ago, you literally had Martinez, and now you're at Ramsdale.
That's a completely different
Martinez-
argument. Like,
Martinez-
that's yeah, no,
Martinez
but like it's
I hear what you're saying, but Martinez
from a
right now is
recruitment standpoint.
Martinez didn't want to fight. Martinez didn't want to fight for his place, so we let him go. It's simple. It's no more than that. He didn't want to compete for number 1 spot. He wanted to go to a place where he was guaranteed that, and we let him do that. Simple
like,
business. There's no.
No, Martinez is a totally different story. But like, if we like Ramsdale, the only reason we'd sign Ramsdale is because he's homegrown. So if you want to sign a homegrown keeper, there's different options in the market. Sam Johnston's there for £10 million. McCarthy at Southampton's there for £5 million.
Try getting Nick Pope. Should try getting Nick Pope.
Like,
He's
as a
terrible
backup,
with his
as
feet.
backup
He's
keepers.
terrible with his feet.
But he's a good keeper.
But bro, to be honest, his backup keeper at this point, and Leno's
He's not
horrible with
good.
his feet, and he starts every week. Like, yeah, that's Arsenal. Arsenal is more than like the performance. I don't even want to discuss the performance because I think that was a very, very poor performance.
You had
And it's not
22
really
shots, 4 on target.
But I don't think it's really fair though, because a lot of the players were young, especially in attack. A lot of the players were young. Players like Balogun, I don't think they were ready for that kind of being thrown into the Premier League. So I don't want to
How
lay
is
the
this happening, man?
I have a question.
How?
I have a question.
Mm.
Before the game, I just want to ask everyone, before the game, what did people expect the outcome of this game to be? Honestly.
I thought
Like,
Arsenal would win.
I thought Arsenal would win.
You thought Arsenal would win?
Yeah,
You
honestly,
thought
I thought
Arsenal
Arsenal would win.
Everyone thought, I can't lie, I'll be so honest, I didn't think Arsenal were going to win. I knew that Arsenal were going to lose. Not because I feel like maybe you can put it down to that new Premier League buzz type thing. Like when Brentford coming into the Prem, they've got that new promotion bounce, you could say. But I just had that confidence in Brentford, and Brentford fans will be looking at Arsenal first day of the season, probably fancy it. They'll probably fancy it, being honest. And that's an issue. That's an issue. I'm so confident that Brentford would beat Arsenal that I put Tony as my vice captain. I thought he was going to bag. He didn't bag, but it's a thing where smaller teams look at Arsenal and think, yeah, we can have a go at them. We can come out with a result, and that's an issue. That's an issue.
I mean, when Murray.
Let me get Ori's for. What's your thoughts on the whole Arsenal, like what we've been discussing?
Yeah, like Denzel said, smaller teams will obviously come. Yeah, I mean, when Murray's part of a centre back pairing against the game, I mean, you could really fancy almost anything. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of the performance, Aubameyang and Lacazette, I don't really know what's happening with them. I've heard a lot of rumors, behind the scenes stuff. I feel if, as much as obviously I'm not really a huge fan of Lacazette, and obviously Aubameyang hasn't really been on form, but I just kind of feel if Aubameyang and Lacazette did play that game, would have probably had a better chance. Take nothing away from Martinelli and Balogun. I mean, they're really young and, they tried what they could do, but, they just lack the experience that was kind of needed in our attack. Aside from that game, the Premier League or the whole transfer window schedule is just very bewildering to me. How the season starts before the window ends, I've always had a problem with that. I know that they they tried to make the transfer window end before
They voted against it though.
they switched it about because other leagues weren't
Yeah.
and it just put the Premier League at a huge disadvantage because literally like the DOS and every other person behind the sport, they just feel way more relaxed to wait towards the end of the transfer window rather than get it done before the season starts. And there are 3 games, I think, in the Premier League before the window ends. And 3 games are really important. 9 points is a serious, it's something serious. And let's not even talk about getting your signings ready into the squad, the training, everything that I would take before, because I'm sure Lukaku is probably going to start against Arsenal probably, and he might not, but new signings are, even look at when Sancho came and he still didn't start this game against Leeds. New signings have to be immersed really slowly. So as you think, we've already started the Premier League and we haven't made the right back signing, the attacking midfield signing, a new goalkeeper. I mean, take for instance, if Leno got injured in training, like Brentford warm-up, it's actually quite crazy how disorganized our whole squad is.
You have Carl Jacob Hen on the bench from Estonia, 19 years old.
I'm just really in shock at
that is
because
cool.
I do know in that when we got Ozil, Kolasinac, Mustafi, that period that we got all of them out, I still expected a couple more to go, El Neni and those type of players. They're still in the squad. I don't know. Our squad is just a mess. The people, the director of sports, everyone, Edu, they're all just disorganized. And the board also are just very incompetent. And I think that's just all I can really say in terms of where our squad is at the moment. I do feel that if we do make signings still before the transfer window ends, I feel obviously we would have a better chance of having a good season. But right now, I don't know, Mari Chambers, even as much as I rate Lokonga, I just thought he was going to be someone who would just be, backup. I really did think we're going to get a new, and obviously Partey's injury, it's just very, I don't know. I just feel like we've been really out of luck and we've been really disorganized with our squad and all our selections. We don't have a goalkeeper who plays this way we exactly want to play. We don't even have a good goalkeeper because I don't rate Leno. We only have a few good players in our team, and that's just really shocking when you think about it. I don't really know what more I can say. In terms of Arteta, I think everybody already knows how I feel about Arteta, and I don't really think that's going to change anytime soon. But I just want to be able to make a judgment of Arteta because obviously everyone knows that as much as I do rate him, I do have my doubts about him. They're obviously certain. I think no matter how much you rate someone, you still have doubts about them. So I obviously have a lot of doubts in certain areas, but what I've just been dying to see is him with a squad where, that I can say, okay, it's a good enough squad to do this. It's a good enough squad to do that. So why isn't he doing that? But I just feel like I haven't been able to properly judge him as I would want to. Because
how long will that take for that to happen?
How long would that take?
I have a question after, sorry.
Maybe already signing a right back, maybe already signing, after this transfer window, if we have a new right back, I'm just saying 2 signings, a right back and an attacking mid. No, actually a right back or an attacking player, either left wing, because Smith Rowe could run left wing or 8. So either left wing, either even a new striker, just an attacking player.
But this is assuming that Aubameyang and Lacazette stay, right?
Even if Aubameyang and Lacazette, I also want them to stay. Not Lacazette,
but I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So coming into the season, I don't know if this is a quote. I don't have it in writing, but I heard that Arteta stated that he would be backed this season. Is that correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, he said he was going to. Wait, did he? I know he did. He did lead us to believe that he was going to be back.
Do you feel like that was a mistake? Because I don't understand why you would say that.
You know what? I don't want to seem like a very optimistic person, and in saying this, but the window still isn't over. I know that sounds like but
when you, like you said earlier, there's 3 games before the window closes. You want to get your transfers done as early as possible. And he said what he said a while ago.
That's just down to disorganization. And obviously, if
I was him, I wouldn't come out and say that I'm going to get back this window when you know what your board are like. that I feel like that was a
I think
mistake on
Arsenal
his
are
part.
trying to do
That's not,
something, man.
but
I think
the
Arsenal are
thing
Yeah,
going to
is,
obviously
sack
they're
us.
trying, but I don't
a
think you
manager,
should come out explicitly and say
honestly,
I'm going to be back
a
this
manager,
window. I don't think.
a manager has to work with the board, or else, I mean, you literally be sacked. I mean, it's literally your job. Like look, someone like, okay, I don't mean to bring United into this, but someone like Ole, I mean, like obviously he would obviously, when the board didn't sign Sancho that summer, obviously I'm sure he definitely wanted Sancho, but obviously you need to you need to basically work deals out with, you know, your employers per se, or, you know, or else it's not. So I don't know, him coming out and saying he'll be back.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Ole
you
never
obviously
Can I
came
ask
out
you?
and said,
Can I ask you
"Oh,
real quick?
I'm going to get back this window."
Real
per
quick,
se,
can I
but
ask
yeah.
you? Can I ask you if Arsenal's marquee signing is Martin Odegaard? Will you be
Yeah.
happy with that?
marquee signing.
For the number 10?
I'll be happy if we signed Odegaard, but I won't be happy if that's our marquee signing. Because I
So
expect Odegaard. If we do sign Odegaard, I expect another attacking player with him.
so if they
I mean, that's what I'd expected.
so you said a number 10 and a right back, because I saw rumors
I'd
today
have said a number 10. So it's basically, if we did sign Odegaard, I'd like Odegaard, a right back, and a striker per se. Like, for example, that's what I would take. So for this, I expect a right back, an attacking midfielder, and one more attacking player, or a right back and one more attacking player who's like, you know, a top class striker or something like that. I know that really seems unlikely now, but you know, like I always like to, I always say I don't want to sound like just an optimistic, but obviously the window still isn't over. And I know we're obviously still going to make signings before the window ends. I mean, I can definitely guarantee you that, but I just don't know who the signings are going to be, and I don't know whether they're going to be good signings. So,
but one thing I can say now is, given that, so we know that Martin Odegaard was the number one priority for Arsenal.
yeah,
That's Fabrizio's come out and said that if we look at the signing that they wanted to make between Arteta and Edu, it doesn't fill me with confidence, because these were the signings they wanted. These were the 5: Ben White, Ramsdale, Buendia, Odegaard, and I think them 4. They were the 4 main signings.
and I think Madison as well.
And Madison. Now, Buendia, I don't know if anyone watched him, but he was very poor against Watford. Maybe it was a bad game. So
who? Madison?
Buendia.
Oh, Bendia. Oh, yeah. Bendia was
He was very poor. Maybe it was a bad game, so we'll leave it for further judgment. Ramsdale, I think we can all agree that's a poor purchase. Madison he'll cost a hell of a lot of money, and he's got a long-term recurring injury.
Madison's a terrible signing in my opinion.
I don't know if that's the best signing.
Madison is a terrible signing.
And Odegaard, he was in the team last year, and he didn't find his feet, given it's a loan, and he didn't really have time to integrate. Hindsight
is a very funny thing though, because isn't that all down to the scouting process? I mean, who knew Bruno was going to come in and make such an impact that he did, per se? Like,
I did. What? There's a reason why we're chasing him for how many years. We were chasing him for a long time. We knew he was going to be. Bro, you can look back on the clips. United fans, we've been wanting Bruno. We've been wanting Bruno for time, and we knew he was going to change.
I'm not saying you didn't think it was going to be a good signing, but this impact, like going for winning your top scorer, winning your best player every single season, like you expected him to be this good.
Okay, fair point.
I mean,
but we did expect him to do very, very well. I'm not saying that. Come in and be one. I know.
I rated Bruno heavily at the point where you signed him in Lisbon. It was good. But I'm just saying that no one knew that he was going to make such an impact. It's all down to the scouting thing, because if Madison comes in, and obviously I'm also not like a huge fan of Madison, but if Madison comes in and Madison suddenly turns, I mean, everybody be like, oh, okay, you know, it's good that they signed Madison. So I just feel like hindsight is just a very funny thing. But although I haven't also been very pleased with the players that they've been linked to, I think Madison is just okay. I think it's too expensive. Odegaard, I've always rated Odegaard. But obviously, you know, I feel like everybody wants that goals and assists from midfield, and I don't really think Odegaard would put them in high numbers for us. Ramsdale, awful. White, I get why they signed White. I like White personally. I know it's going to aid our transitions. Obviously, he didn't have a really good first game, but I'm not too worried about that. I feel like he would be a good investment, because we've needed a centre back who can distribute and build up from the back. I feel it's going to be one of our best. When we look back on White, I think we're going to be very pleased in future. So I'm not too fussed about that. So I'm just expecting 2 more signings. Right back, I don't really think we've been linked to anyone, which is shocking.
Today they've been saying that there's swap deals apparently. It's either Kieran Trippier or they want to get Emerson for swap
I
deals.
did.
I think both, I like both of them.
Yeah,
I did know about
Trippier.
Trippier,
Mr.
and I
New.
do.
I like
do
both of
really
them.
love Trippier. The only reason why I think Trippier is better than Emerson. but-
Emerson,
Yeah, it's a
you
decent
can't
sign.
get
Emerson
Emerson.
now,
Emerson,
can
you know, the
you?
Barcelona right back.
and
The one they
Barcelona.
just
He's signed for
bought.
Barcelona.
Yeah, because they ain't got no
It
play,
was-
like they can't register
Yeah.
players, bro.
He was
And
on
they
the
have
bench.
Dest. They have Dest on Emerson, so they literally aren't going to try and keep it. So
Yeah.
I think.
But what isn't it with Emerson? They have a co-ownership with Real Betis or
No, they
something.
bought
It
him.
wasn't like.
They bought him.
Nah, he was basically
No,
like.
I
he was on
swear,
loan
I
then.
swear they had a co-ownership.
I've seen
It
a
was
lot of
different
swap
sort of
talk
deal.
between Barca and Arsenal. I've seen
Mm.
some weird swap talk about
Coutinho.
Aubameyang as well. Is
Yeah,
the
you know, I've
Aubameyang
seen
like
something about that as well. Honestly, we're
It's
signing
weird.
Emerson or Trippier. That'll be really good for us.
I'll say Emerson.
Yeah.
Emerson's more athletic and you can.
Emerson
run
is
down the
younger,
road.
and he's way
Yeah,
younger.
he's
That'll
defensive
be the way
behemoth.
better signing on paper, to be fair. But
Yeah.
Trippier is also a really good right back, so I wouldn't mind.
If you want
Trippier.
What about
Trippier
the
for
centre
build-up,
attacking
then that makes
midfielder,
sense.
or-
That makes sense.
Sorry?
What about the
Yeah,
centre
central-
attacking midfielder?
What central? What?
The 10.
Like what about the 10? The 10.
Who would I want for the 10?
Yeah.
Honestly, the market is very funny. I really do not know who I can look at and say, honestly, yeah, I don't think I could tell you. I thought we were going to
Our links have all they're dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, but
Our links is
ours
actually
not
choice.
really. Ours not really a 10 though. That's the
No,
problem.
he's not a 10. My point is that those links are gone completely.
Yeah, the hour links are
Yeah.
gone. I
For
thought
me,
we'd
I
get.
think for the
I thought we'd
price,
get
you have
our-
to take a punt.
I thought
Surely,
we'd get.
Cam,
I thought we'd get
CM,
our.
left mid.
Yeah.
I thought we'd get our on the left side, and then obviously Smith Rowe would play as our 10.
Yeah, that's what I would have liked.
That's what I would have liked as well, because I don't know, just it's all run poorly. Obviously, right now we just have how many weeks? 2 weeks to the window.
Do you know, we'll see to the end of the window. At the end of the
That's
window,
literally what I'm just trying to say. Yeah,
We'll
after the
see.
window, if they haven't made signings that have, please,
we'll
then
reassess.
that's when I would reassess, and you probably see a rant from me. But maybe I'm just a bit not as panicking, because I know there's still time left in the window.
But one thing I'll say,
How long is Party out for?
Wait,
He's out till
last
mid-September.
topic before we move on, because we need
He'll be
to.
back.
gonna say
Party will be back
the-
like sometime in September, I think. Or...
Yeah, Dan. Last
So
one. then we'll move on.
Lokonga's gonna have a good run in the team. He is.
yeah,
Yeah, he will do.
So
I think Lukanga is quite young as well, and I just think he does look good. He has a lot of spatial awareness, so like he tends to read the game around him, which I really like. That's something that a lot of our midfielders.
But is that what you really want? A 21-year-old
Because we've been on Arsenal for time.
I don't want him
Straight
to be a starter.
We've been on Arsenal for
We
time.
always
Dan,
spend ages on Arsenal.
Dan, you wanted a final point before we move on.
Yeah, the one thing I was gonna say is the whole vibe around Arsenal right now is very very toxic. Like in terms of so I'll just use this example. Tickets. I don't know if you watch Spurs, we'll probably get onto them next. Their stadium packed yesterday, ram-packed. Man United, ram-packed. The vibe around them clubs are very good, very excited. Tickets for Arsenal, the two hardest tickets to get, Spurs and Chelsea at home. There's so many tickets available for Chelsea at home next week. So I just say be prepared for a lot of empty seats next week.
Interesting. One of the teams you mentioned, let's look at Spurs.
Right.
Let's even look at Man City. Let's look at Man City. What's our thoughts on Man City? And I think you were saying it, Dan. Grealish is gonna start getting that treatment, innit? Because man was starting to look at him a bit sideways, like we spent 100 M's on you. What are you really doing? So yeah, I'm not gonna focus on him too much, but yeah, what was our overall thoughts on the City Tottenham game, Sarab?
Yeah. Well, in terms of City, very, very slow. Like, I'll give Japet Tanganga. He did very well against Sterling and Grealish coming on that left side. City were flat, man. I was so surprised. Like Pep, I thought like it was a poor performance from them. Apart from the first 15 minutes, they were haphazardous. They were slow. No build up. No quick transitions. No passing. No movement. Tottenham kept a good shape. The one-on-ones, you had Højbjerg and Skip. To be fair, Skip and Højbjerg were shifting along nicely. Moura had a very good game as well. So, and when Son, eventually he started taking his chances in the second half, taking some more shots on. Because in the first half, Son was very reluctant. And then, I mean, City, they had the most expensive team ever in Premier League history, or whatever what it was, their bench. But, Tottenham did well considering everything that was up against them, the Harry Kane shenanigans and all that. But, yeah, it was a poor performance from City, I think. And Tottenham did well considering everything.
I think Pep's been saying that City are going to start slow this season, and I think more time, except from when they won the league.
But I didn't like Pep's reaction because all he said was, players not back yet, players late back. Like, okay, fair enough, but I don't think that's a good enough excuse.
The team,
there's nothing.
Yeah, the team's good enough to win.
But Spurs had the same thing.
Exactly.
Spurs had the same issue.
They played like Oliver Skip in midfield, who I think
he might be first choice though. Skip, he might be first choice. He might be first choice.
Winks is leaving, isn't he? So Skip might have a chance now.
I was thinking Ndom, but
I don't know about that, brother.
Apparently Ndombele's been frozen out again.
Yeah, that's for the 4th or 3rd time.
Again,
that's an issue with the player, because if that's a separate manager and it's happened again, so
that's what I was saying to Dan. 4 different managers now: Poch, Jose. What's their brother's name?
Well, not counting my man.
Mason.
Are we counting? No, counting Mason.
He didn't play him at all. He didn't play him at all.
But Mason just played his friends though.
Yeah, man. Most of the squad was older than him.
Like that.
Now with Spurs, man, they destroyed City on the transition, man. It was just
exactly
Son, especially what's his name, Moura. I slandered him.
Lucas Moura, his ball carrying, he was good.
He was just ripping them, man. City, I think they'll start off slow. I think we'll have to wait and see. Do you think before we get on to Spurs, do you think they'll get Kane? Honestly, do we actually think they'll get Kane?
Yeah, I think they'll end up getting him.
I think Nuno pretty much sort of. I think he's sort of said it.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't
can't really say too much, but
yeah, but I think that will happen. The rumors.
I don't think Pep will go into a season without. I don't think they would go into a season without. Yeah,
just with Jesus up front.
Yeah, it just seems so.
I feel sorry for Jesus, man.
Everyone's saying City.
He's like, them man are saying, oh, they needed a striker. Jesus is right there.
Like, Jesus isn't even a bad striker.
He's a backup striker to no striker.
No, Jesus is not bad at all. He's not bad at all.
He's not bad.
He's not a bad. Yeah,
he's just not Man City.
I've been saying, I think
you know what? I wouldn't even mind Jesus at Arsenal, to be fair.
Yeah, I take Jesus.
He's a good player.
I think he should be a winger. I think he should be a winger. I'm not even joking. I actually think he should be a winger.
You're literally not the first person. You're literally not the first person. One of my friends did suggest that as well. Like, he should be a left winger, and I can see that actually. But yeah,
he's played there before, isn't he?
He has played there, yeah, but just very.
So he came through as a winger. Like, they said he was the new Neymar. Yeah. I mean, every Brazilian.
Everyone's a new Neymar.
Everyone's the new.
Yeah.
But with City, I don't think there's that much to worry about, honestly. It's first game of the season, but they're not going to lose any sleep over that loss, I don't think.
No, 100. Do you think we can play exchange?
See how Christian Romero does for Tottenham? Because
that's a good buy. But do you think
Christian Romero, not going to lie, he's the complete opposite of a Wolves centre-back. Or a Wolves centre-back? Nuno's type of centre-back. Because from what I've seen of him, I feel like he's a very front foot, like go hard in the tackle.
Defender, yeah.
Aggressive as hell. And Nuno centre backs traditionally they don't do that. They don't. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe he's going to transition into a bit more of like a conservative centre back with the midfield dropping in a bit more. And Brian Hill as well. He only had one big thing season last year.
Yeah.
The fact that they managed to swap Lamela as well. I think
that's a good little swap. That. Yeah.
What's it? The new DOF is doing this thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a
Paratici.
Italian, don't he? Yeah.
No, but what I was saying, do you think they'll get a player in a return for Kane?
No.
Maybe
from Man City. Yeah, they might do because
if they can convince the player to go. Someone like Bernardo, I think, if they can convince him to go.
I'd rather they just take the money in cash and just go and get their own new signings.
It depends how quickly the Kane deal goes through, though. Because if they only have like a few days left, they're gonna struggle.
Yeah, that's true.
If I was Spurs, I would take us.
This went back.
Because I don't think they're gonna reinvest that money. I don't think they're gonna invest that money.
You can't replace Kane, so
you can't exactly. The thing is that I was watching a video and. You're not winning with Kane,
yeah.
So just sell him. Like you're keeping Kane, like you're gonna win the league with him. You're not. Tottenham are not contenders.
Yeah.
Just let him go
But
and reinvest the money.
It's like Villa. They sold Jack Grealish, but they signed the players already. So like Tottenham haven't signed those players, those 2 or 3 players to replace Kane.
But you know what is with
it's going to
Spurs?
be tough.
Like, I think Kane, Son, maybe 1 or 2 others, Lloris, they're the final pieces of that Pochettino team. They're the final pieces. And Spurs right now, I know people like saying rebuild a lot, but Spurs right now need to kind of clean that squad out and get a newer
Consolidate.
squad. And I mean, Son signed a new contract and he scored for Spurs, so I mean, they're very happy with him. But if they manage to sell Kane, they can bring in 3, 4 new players that can form part of that new squad, that Nuno squad that they're going for.
Do you think they should try? I don't know if it would work though, because Son's a clinical finisher. Would you put Son up front?
I don't know if you can give him that power.
Yeah, he is a very good finisher. He's a shoot on side type of guy. I think
if they play
Nuno has no
counter-attacking,
choice.
If they can counter-attacking, yes.
I hear that, man.
I think that's the route they're trying to go down with Nuno, which if it works, it works.
And especially if they play with a front 3 that's quite fluid. Maybe, but I don't know, because Son was really the only one staying in the middle. They didn't really rotate that much. Bergwijn and so I don't know.
Dele Alli was very poor though. I mean, understandably.
Oh yeah, he played, didn't it?
Very poor.
I forgot about him.
Maybe Salsa will take quite a pragmatic midfield 3.
I think he's poor. Him. I think Grealish as well was poor. Grealish right now is as I was saying before, like he went from being at the start of last season being underrated, and now that he's got the move to Man City, he's going to be scrutinized to an extreme.
Because at Villa, no one notices that any of your bad faults when you're in a smaller team, when you're the main man. Whereas now people are going to start picking on all these little bits.
And the thing about it is, I think it's by fans that he's going to get scrutinized by, because the media I think they'll protect him. And like Souness came out,
nation's darling.
Souness came out after the Man United game and said about Pogba's performance and said that's what you expect from a £100 million player, and then didn't have anything to say about Grealish's absolute shit show. To be honest,
he's just a gender. You could tell before there might have been a bit of hatred there. Let me not say that because I don't know, but what's it called? Now he's just full on agenda. I think
when Pogba said, "I don't know who he is," he took that personal.
Yeah.
100%.
But you man defend Pogba too much. All these Michael Richards and all them. You man try.
What do you mean? No, he's just kind of he's pointing out the hypocrisy. He wasn't completely right in terms of him saying Paul Pogba said he never wanted to leave the club. Paul Pogba has come out and actually said he wanted to leave the club. Like, he has done that. Let's not get it twisted. But this whole I understand to a certain extent what Richards is saying. He has a point.
His narratives.
Yeah, he has a point.
With Harry Kane and Grealish, it's let's feel bad for them. They're in a bad situation. When like if we're being realistic, their behavior is the exact same as Pogba, and he's seen as like the evil guy.
Hey, Grealish one's a bit worse though, because man's done drunk driving and stuff like that.
Exactly, so and he's still seen as the good lad.
Yeah, he's a proper coconut as well.
Yeah, so that one's a bit, but yeah, man.
He'll always have the media on his side. So
he will. Sarah, tell me a bit about West Ham.
Mate,
you know they were trying to do the narrative that St. Maximin spun Rice, man. They tried doing that.
He honestly did.
Well, he did. He did.
If he won the game, St. Maximin that game was on
I've never seen Soufal play so badly. Honestly,
no help, man. No help.
I was saying before, the guy's cold. He's cold.
Very cold in the game. He was ripping them left, right, and center.
It was an abysmal performance.
But yeah, Sarah, tell me, what are you saying about West Ham?
So there were 17 shots in the first half from both teams, the most of any game. Yeah, the defending, I am telling you, was awful. Like, Rice completely taken away. Cresswell, oh my God, why aren't you doubling up when Rice is going in for St. Maximin to get that cross in? Callum Wilson gets in ahead of Virgil van Dawson and Angelo Ogbonna. Like, it's a joke. Honestly, the penalty as well. as a West Ham fan, that's not a penalty for us. So
Nah,
sort
it was
out,
a
all right?
pen. It was a pen.
No, it's not. It's Denzel. It's not a penalty. I'm telling you.
Nah,
Right,
I watched it live. It was a pen. It was a clear pen.
Murphy got the ball. Jacob Murphy
Nah,
got it. But
it was a pen.
But obviously, second half, we were clinical. You know, Antonio did well. Ben Rama played very well in the second half. He started linking up very well. In the first half, he tried a few things that didn't work. But if we're going to talk about West Ham, Arsenal's summer's been bad. West Ham's summer's been very bad as well. Like, we've signed Areola on loan. We have no striker.
You're in Europe.
Yeah, Areola's a very good signing, or on loan, or whatever. Like, I'm happy with it, but
your squad's got worse, and you're in Europe. It don't make sense.
It should have been Tammy. Sammy should have been brought into West Ham.
Tammy should have been, and Tammy went to Roma. So if Granit Xhaka's not going to Roma, and Tammy is, then something's up.
Tammy should. I think Tammy makes so much sense for West Ham, to be honest.
Honestly,
he doesn't have to move. He's still in London. It's still at a fairly good level. You're in Europa League, and you need a striker. Not as much pressure.
He's guaranteed 30 games because Antonio's not going to stay fit.
Right age profile. It makes so much sense.
Honestly, like I just don't know who. Like Odson Edouard, 1 year left on his contract. Why not being linked with him at all? Like obviously we can't get Onaziri. Well, it's not going to happen. Patson Daka's already gone to Leicester. Like, mate, don't let the result like shadow anything.
Smell down this hilarious
and the pay capital takeover thing, that is a joke as well. It just reminds me of Man United, to be honest, because it's like some like they're dodgy, mate. Like, they want to rename the team to as well. Like it's some dodgy stuff's going on.
Bro, you can't rename West Ham to what? Stratford FC or something.
Yeah, it was like because it originally was called Ironworks FC, and then I don't know.
It works, you know.
Listen,
I was like the colours gone in it. Man changed the kit from.
Antonio gets
changed the colours.
The season's over. Oh, but
West Ham.
Second half was better. Newcastle played well. Let's not get Newcastle did actually play quite well. I'm just happy we beat them, to be honest.
Sam Maximan was going nuts that game.
Yeah, he has no end product though.
No, he does. He does still.
Nah, he hasn't. He's a very good player. He's just surrounded by whack. He's surrounded by whack players, man. If you put him on a good team, it's cooking. I'm telling you, Josh, you saw the vision. I can't lie. Respect to you for that.
I test, bro.
We'll see this season because he needs to step up this season. Can't be relying on Callum Wilson to get 15, 20 goals.
If he's fit, they're staying up. Like I'm not too worried. But if he's injured, then they might be in trouble. Let's move on to Europe. Anything that we saw from Europe that caught our attention? PSG, Messi. What are you saying about that?
No, I care. Allow Piet.
No one cares.
They want to chat about it. I'm talking about the performance in itself. Like, who's checking for Ligue 1 like that?
When Messi makes his debut, I know you're gonna watch.
Yeah, people will be checking when Messi makes his debut, but the performance, I'm seeing weird. PSG is bookie at the moment. I'm seeing the weird Ronaldo rumor, Mbappe. I think it's all BS. I don't think that's actually gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But did anyone actually watch the 4-2 win against, was it Strasbourg or 4-1?
Strasbourg. Didn't watch it still.
I saw the highlights. Oh, you watched it or?
No, I didn't watch the full game. Just saw some bits of it. Yeah. I mean, it's natural. PSG really I don't know. They should I think they should definitely win the treble this season. If they don't, that would be underperforming, which is weird to say. But yeah, they should be going for the treble.
Let's see what these men are saying.
But Ligue 1 is about the what's it called now, man?
Yeah,
Ligue 1 is about the Champions League race because Lille got smashed in their own back garden, 4-0.
Man said he's obsessed with the idea of becoming Real Madrid's new superstar.
He literally is a Ronaldo fanboy. He wants to be
exactly, man. He don't want to play with Ronaldo's up. He wants to play with. He wants to play. He wants the 7 at the back at Real Madrid, man. Come on.
He literally wants.
I don't think it won't happen.
He wants to be Ronaldo.
Not this season.
He's like a crazy fanboy. I can't even lie. Like he just wants to go to Madrid, wear the 7, play left wing, and just take them to. He has that dream in his head.
The glory days.
And he's a young player. He could obviously reach close to those heights because I don't think anyone could really reach Ronaldo's heights. But yeah, It's a good thing to achieve. I don't know why a lot of people are hating on him for wanting to. It's not like Real Madrid are the best of sides right now. They're not, So he literally
See,
wants
Yeah,
to.
I think it's yeah.
Real Madrid's
It's
juice
good
is
that he wants to
different,
go
bro.
there.
It's different. Man, don't understand. Real Madrid are different. They're not your average show. They're not your average show. Like, people need to relax. Like, nah. When Real Madrid
Are they
knock on the door, you're
he's
opening
been
that,
sold.
bro.
He has a dream. He has a dream, and he wants to execute the dream.
Yeah, simple as.
Real Madrid aren't exactly. I don't think it's any magical superpowers that Real Madrid have.
Bro, it's
He
because
has
we're in
the ambition to
England.
play for Real
England will tell
Madrid.
you Man United is the biggest club in the world.
Nah, Real
when-
Madrid,
Come on,
Real Madrid
man.
have.
Real Madrid, they're still a big club, but they're not what. Like I said
No,
in
they're still
the
the
previous
biggest.
episode, they're not.
They're
They're
Still
still
not
the
big.
one.
finances. I know what you mean.
Barcelona and Real Madrid are not what they once were. They're not. We're not going to see Galacticos again. We're not going to see that part two.
Can I say
It's
something?
not the same thing. Real Madrid isn't, like I said in the last episode, Real Madrid and Barcelona aren't at the pinnacle of football. But I admire Mbappe for wanting to go to Real Madrid and try and take them back to the pinnacle of football. I do respect that.
Bro, there's a reason why all the greatest players play for Real Madrid and Barcelona, because they're
So
the
they're
two
the
greatest.
peas.
That's the pinnacle of football. I'm sorry. You see,
Like Dan said, Dan's right, the peas. Fam,
Mhm.
seeing the amount of money that there was a period of time where they're
Nah,
slapping how much? 100+ million on Coutinho, 100+
Josh,
million
because
on almost 100
Josh,
million on
it's about
Griezmann.
peas,
Bro,
bro. Because if you look at
All
all the
about
great
peas.
players during the 90s, they all played, and the 80s, they all played for Italian clubs, because that's where the peas was. Look at all the great players that played for AC Milan and Inter Milan. Them players, that's where the money was, and that's why Real Madrid and Barcelona for the past 10 years have had so many great players. Don't get it twisted, they're the biggest clubs, but that's why they could afford to have all the great players. Like right now, Barcelona can't afford to have the Galacticos. That's why they're signing people on freeze.
I'm saying if Mbappe
trying to
had the
swap for
choice
Lacazette.
between if Mbappe had the choice between Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Real Madrid, he's choosing Real Madrid 9 times out of 10.
Because of the dream, because of CR7 and the dream. He's not looking at their squads. You think Mbappe is looking at all their squads and saying, "Yeah, Real Madrid squad's the best one." No, it's the dream of playing for Real Madrid, and you have to respect that. Barcelona negative net worth of 451 million euros.
$1.3 billion in debt.
They're not those guys no more.
Financially,
They're not those guys no more. Financially, anyway. But even though looking at the football as well, they're not at the pinnacle.
Yeah, put some respect on
It's a new era.
name.
It's a new era, and I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing the Barca tears. I love it all. I soak it in, embrace it. All the pain they caused me in those Champions League finals. All the pain that Messi caused me. It's happy to see. I'm happy to see their demise.
Yeah. Cool then. Actually win a trophy before you start talking about demise. But what's it called?
Yeah.
Any other
Copa del Rey, innit?
What's it? Do we check any other leagues? Because I watched a bit of the German league.
Yeah, I saw Haaland's performance against whoever it was.
What are you saying, Rory?
Bayern. They got held back or in the game.
To Gladbach, innit?
Gerd Muller died and Lewandowski pulled a nice gesture, didn't he?
Haaland is really, really good. He's also looked more. I don't know if anyone saw him, but yeah, he looks way more like complete. I should say,
His
That's
playmaking in that game was good as well.
That's always with young strikers. You can always build them and coach them into becoming having more aspects to their game. If Haaland actually does, become more complete, I mean, it's going to go down as an old. I mean, he already is going to go down as an old timer, but he's going to be really up there because now he really looks like a proper 9. I think he should stay. It's a good decision to stay in Dortmund for one more season. Then he should probably leave after this season. I don't know where he should go to, but yeah, he should leave.
So whoever offers him the most bread, I'd say. Because Fabrizio Romano was talking about it today. He said it's basically like he's a free agent next season because of the release clause. And everyone's going to activate that release clause. It's just about who's going to offer him the most money and where he wants to go. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
because of Chelsea,
the juice in it. We'll see who has the juice.
It's interesting because of Chelsea. Chelsea aren't in that race no more because they have Lukaku, and whoever lands Kane won't be in that race anymore. So it's interesting to see the domino effect of the striking position. It's very interesting to see.
Iron.
But will United need him though? Because Greenwood is looking like he's coming as a 9.
Yeah, I think if he's available, United will go for Haaland.
Yeah.
They'll try. You can have a goal, but I don't know if
United should definitely go for him though.
Yeah, we should. I don't know.
I think a player like that, you have to go through him if he's available.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
upset if we didn't go for him. But at the same time, have a go. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind him at United. Before I've said I don't want
I
him at
wouldn't
United.
mind
because
him
of
at
the-
United. You
No,
know.
You wouldn't
because of
mind
the
him.
issues.
You'd snap
It's
your
no, it's
hand
not. It's
off.
not about the player. It's the issues that comes with the player. His agent's been a Raiola, and we know what happens with Raiola clients at United. I don't really want to go through that again. So I wouldn't lose any sleep if he didn't come to United. If he comes to United, I'll be yeah.
To end off here, I want us each to name a player that we've invested heavy stocks into for this season. So I'm going to start with Dan. Who have you invested heavily for this season?
There's a young player who plays for Angers in France. I think he's
I know.
7.
Yeah.
17.
True.
Yes,
He's a baller. I was
Mohamed.
literally going to mention him. Yeah, he's a baller.
Sorry, bro, sorry, guy, but nah, I caught a bit of that game, and I've heard some good things, and I think he's going to be a good player, man, top player.
Good choice.
Good things like who they comparing him to? Like who's he stylistically?
It's not even in terms of comparisons. Like I was just seeing a lot of French journalists say that if he doesn't get injured, this is going to be his breakout season, his big season, where a lot of clubs are going to start looking at him.
Sarah?
Oh.
Wait, I'm just reading. What is he English?
No. He plays for Angers.
I'm reading that he's.
I don't think
I'm
he's
reading that he's
He came
representing
from
England internationally.
academy. I think it was in Everton Academy. I'm not sure.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm reading that. Yeah, he's representing England under 16s at the moment.
Mhm.
That's why I just did a quick Google search. That'll be interesting to see. Thank you for putting me on.
I think he's French. He's
I'll
French
look
and
at it.
English.
Yeah, have a look.
Sarah, you got one?
No, I'm probably gonna say Sven Botman this year because like he had Font next to him, didn't he? And he's improved a lot. I think from what I've watched of him, he's gonna get a big move. I think definitely. Just trying to think anyone else who I've watched. No. Hopefully Tonali stays fit this year and gets a proper run out for AC. But we know what Tonali's about, don't we? So, but yeah, hopefully he gets a full season under his belt.
Denzel?
I quite like my scouting expertise isn't as good as you guys. It's not as refined as you guys. So I'm gonna play it safe. You man put me onto. I think Ori's gonna mention the person I'm thinking of, so I'm not gonna mention him. But I'll play it safe. Greenwood stocks are coming, man. And Shurateria as well. But I don't think he's gonna get game time this season. But is one to watch out for too.
Oh yeah. There's a guy from Rennes, the Ghanaian brother. I have stocks in him. Suleiman, I think that's it, or Suleiman. They bought him from Northland, didn't it? He's meant to be some big boy talent. I saw his debut. He scored a banger. So yeah, I'm gonna have stocks in him. I'm gonna be watching Rennes, and I'm gonna be checking out for Turkey as well. But apparently he had beef with Peter Bosz. So let's see what happens with him. But yeah, Ori, what about you?
Yeah, something came up, so I'm going to have to go after this. But yeah, Banarashea, Real Sociedad. I think everyone knows I have huge love for him. He's a very good player, attacking really fast, literally, an outlet, proper forward player. I think this season he would really, show more of what he has to offer. Hopefully he gets more game time. But yeah, I'm going to just have to leave soon. But yeah, it's been real. I'll catch you.
Bro. All right, bro. We're even gonna end off now, innit? Because
Yeah.
we've been going on.
I'm surprised you didn't mention this guy Noni.
Who?
Noni, man.
Noni Madueke.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah. There's so
I'm
many,
surprised you
man.
didn't
There's so
mention
many. There's so many. Hey, you might watch out for Memphis at Barca, though. I think he's gonna do his thing there, man. I think he's gonna
And
do his
obviously
thing.
the Dortmund boys, Gio Reyna, the left back as well.
Daniel Marlin.
Yeah, Doniel Marlins, a couple of Eredivisie guys, Ibrahim Sangare, they're
Oh yeah.
PSV
Tifo.
midfielder.
Tifo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But yeah, people, that's it for this week, man. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with your people. But yeah, man, hit the bell notification so you're up to date. But yeah, see you soon. See you next week. Peace.